Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about the Neon Traveling Chocobo and how they are completely breaking the price paradigm for Magic the Gathering. And we're going to dive into whether or not these crazy prices you see here are actually real, or is it all just a big old hoax? Hey, thanks for stopping by. I'm the Nerdy Attorney. Please like, subscribe, and do everything that makes the algorithm see that this channel, little though it is worth watching and keeping around. Let's dive into a video I've been wanting to make for a while, and it's whether or not these large prices here, these price tags, $6,199, $2,800, $2,500, are these prices real? But you might be going, well, of course they are. I see them on TCG. These are real prices. These cards are very expensive chase cards that everybody wants. Well, let's see if those are real or not. Let me describe a price paradigm that happens in some TCG games. There are games, especially ones that have new chase cards, that are trying to find their market. For example, Sorcery Contested Realm. When that first came out, Alpha P-Stones, all the cards in that set were $1,000, $1,200, $2,000. If you were getting these foil, the most rare versions of the cards. You don't need to know much about this game, but what I will tell you is I learned there is a price paradigm where large price tags on TCG are not real unless they're tested and if there is purchase and buy through for these cards. Let's talk about Magic the Gathering. They have their own set of cards like that appear to be highly sought after and have high price tags, but the sell-through tells a different story. For example, Edgar Markov Showcase serial number. This card, a price tag of $2,549.99. But guess what? None have sold on TCG. This is a completely untested price point. And you can see $2,500 up to $27,000, up to $3,000, up to $6,800 for this number 50 out of 500 Edgar Markov 9.5 gem mint. As you can see, nobody's bought it. It's still listed. This is an unproven card value. Let's check out the other market where sales do occur for serialized cards, eBay, especially when there are auctions. July 19th, 2025, we had one sell for $1,399. As of the recording of this video, July 21st, that's a pretty recent sale. And that shows me that $1,400 is around what this card is worth. July 13th, $1,600 for this, number 448 out of 500. Going further, offer accepted. I can't see what that offer was, but we know it was under $2,000. $1,800, July 6th. $2,300, July 5th. This was number 123 of 500. A cool sequential number, which likely justifies that additional price boost. Here, $225, offer accepted. $2,000, 3 bids. $2,400 or best offer. It seems this might have been purchased, but keep in mind, this was a graded card, which does factor into a price boost because it costs money to get them graded in the first place. So we can see that these cards were in fact selling, and all the way back in May, one sold for $3,100. So there was a point in time, $3,000 May, where these were selling. But now that the price is stabilized, we're down to less than half the price for these cards, a serious price pullback. Let's check another version. Mox Jasper, Serialized, Tarkir. To be fair, I love this card, but it is a very niche card. People who are going to spend this much money on a Mox are likely playing actual Moxes and not going for these much more niche Mox 0-drop artifacts that are going to tap for mana. This one you can activate only if you control a dragon. In some decks, this thing is incredible. It is one of the best cards you're going to pull, besides your Soul Ring, of course. Now, looking at whether or not this is sold on TCG, no, not a single sale on TCG, with $1,500 as the lowest price here, $2,094, not a real price. Now, for some of you, this is obvious, but for people just getting into Magic the Gathering from other card games, or from maybe no card games whatsoever, they might believe these prices as if they're MSRP, as if there's buy-through, interest, and a reliable price point. But I'm trying to show you that these are not reliable price points, and if anything, are more fairy dust for what the actual value is for these cards. Here we see July 14th, a pretty recent sale, $1,800 for 328 of 500, $1,700. We'll keep scrolling through. You can see the real price point for this card. There was more back in May when the set released, $2,900, $2,300, $3,000. These higher value purchases are exactly why I'm making this video. It's basically a public service announcement. Do not get pulled into early price hype on these more expensive cards, even when there's only 500 of them, because eventually the market is going to adjust to the demand for this product, and you'll be able to get it for a much better price here. Look, you can get it just off TCG for $1,500 now. Somebody paid over $3,000. Let's look at the next. Mox Amber. This is from the first serialized set in Magic the Gathering's history, Brothers War, Retro Frame. This is the schematic, which is what all the serialized ones came from. This one had one sale at $1,500, and there's been no sales at that price point. Checking on eBay, June 15th, offer accepted, not sure what that was. Here, this is a signed card by the artist, $2,500. That one did sell because it had that added signature, which some people love, some people call it damaged. The next is $1,700, 17. Let's scroll back as far as we can to find other sales. Guess what? There aren't many. The hype for this card might have died down a year ago, so we're not going to find, I think, any other price comparisons here, but it does show you the demand for this product has all but dried up. Moving on to the next, Elish Norn serial numbered March of Machines. I love this serialized set from March of Machines. Unique card art for awesome Phyrexian Praetors. It's just incredible. Man, I wish I could add this card to my collection. $4,000 for this card right here, an excellent price point for an amazing card. Look how expensive it is. Oh, just wait. None have sold, and that's the one person who's listed it, and it's a professional with over 50,000 sales. They're not like us. This is somebody selling mass volume at high amounts, and even they can't find a price point they're comfortable letting go of this card for. Let's check out another one that's also interesting and had a lot of hype around it when it came out, Modern Horizons 3. Ulamog the Defiler, serial numbered. This card, first off, there's only 250 as opposed to 500, so they were made even more rare. It's an incredibly powerful and playable card. $2,500, but $2,400. None are selling at that price point, even one for up to $3,000, and the low sale price was $1,850. Checking on eBay here, we see one was sold just on June 8th for $1,500. That's going to keep coming up. $1,500 for best offer. That was taken. And there are no other price comparisons here. Even this one did not have as much price activity as one would think because people who pulled it, I think, are holding on to it. The art is incredible. It's a great card, and I can see why you wouldn't want to let this go if you did pull it, especially at only $250 per card. But again, that $1,500 price point is important and will be very relevant when talking about the Chocobos soon. Let's do a few more for price comparison. Gandalf the White borderless poster, serial numbered, $50,000. Lord of the Rings, the Holiday Edition Special, is the most analogous set to Final Fantasy. It brought in the most outside money and the most interest in pure collectibles as opposed to just gameplay, which is typically Magic's bread and butter. Looking at 100 of these cards, so even less than what happened in Modern Horizons 3, guess what? No sales and a high price of $50,000 from, again, another professional with 25,000 plus sales. Looking on eBay, I can't find a single confirmed sale of a Gandalf the White borderless poster, which tells me either almost none have been pulled, or the ones that have been pulled are being jealously kept, or those price points are completely untested and there is just no market for a Magic the Gathering card at that price unless you're Post Malone. So moving on to the next example I have here for us lined up, the One Ring borderless poster serialized. This is the creme de la creme from one of the best sets in Magic's history in terms of price value until Final Fantasy came along. And this again, out of 100, not a single one has been listed. And guess what? I can't find a single sale on eBay. If you have a way to find a sale in the comments below, please let me know. I'd be very interested to hear. Although I do note Sauron, the Dark Lord borderless poster serialized went for $5,000 here on May 11th, 2025. Honestly, that seems like a pretty good price when there's only 100 of these cards, and this is one of the top cards from the set. I actually have this as my commander. It's an excellent card. Not the serialized, of course, but the borderless poster foil. I love that card. I would never sell it. That paradigm is real, too. A lot of people who get these cards want to hold on to them. Not only are they a cool collectible that's likely going to continue to appreciate, but if you built a deck around it, if you have nostalgia for the period of time in your life when you're playing it, those sorts of things make people hold on to these collectibles and make it harder for them to pop up on the open market. So, now that we've just reviewed some of the most expensive non-Final Fantasy cards in Magic's history and what the buy-through actually looks like, the proven market actually looks like for these kinds of cards, let's move on to the Traveling Chocobos. First, we're going to look at the Neon Pink Traveling Chocobo, a flashy price point of $3,500. Right, what we're looking at, what we've seen, we know there's going to be no sales, right? Wrong. 40 have sold. Apparently a low sale price of 25 cents. Not sure if that was a meme, not sure how that happened, but 25 cents is on there with an all-time high of $3,500. And we have them listed at $3,100 all the way up through to $9,500 with 8 listings available. Check this out. They are selling frequently $2,900 for this Traveling Chocobo. Near mint foils going all the way down. Look at this. $2,000, $3,000, and $869 when this set first came out. Could you imagine? $950. Here's where these cards first started out. It's become clear now that these Traveling Chocobos, especially in the Neon treatment, are incredibly hard to pull and are sort of like the normal serialized cards in this set. Obviously the Golden Chocobo, nearly impossible to pull. But these, there's a chance you're going to pull them. I heard somebody quote that they opened 20 boxes and pulled one Neon Chocobo. So very low pull rates, but still very possible as compared to only 77 golden Chocobos in existence. So this card has incredible price sell-through, and it breached what I'm going to classify as the classic Magic the Gathering ceiling, $1,500. I believe the $1,500 sweet spot is a real pressure point resistance level for any Magic the Gathering card of a rarefied kind, where it has high demand, low volume, and carries this sort of mythic demand and availability being incredibly low, demand being incredibly high. $1,500, I think, before Final Fantasy was the ceiling for Magic the Gathering cards for them to sell. Honestly, $700 to $900 was even pretty insane. You would see less people interested at that price point to buy cards at that value, looking at previous cards we were just discussing. But I do believe $1,500 was a real ceiling, and you can see here on the chart, they hit that pressure point. That band right here was tested at $1,500, and it dropped way down to $700. The sweet spot for very expensive cardboard. Still very expensive, absolutely, don't get me wrong, but I think people are willing to pay it when boxes were costing $700. You know, you guarantee the pull you're looking for without any risk. The price starts to climb, we go up again, we get to that resistance band of $1,500, and then it punched right through. 7 more sold at $1,600, and then 0 sold here at that level per the chart, but we can see here that that's actually not true. We have plenty sold over the $1,500 price point. Look at this. It completely shattered that wall. Now, is this the only one that has that, or is what I'm talking about real? I would say that it is. Let's look at the Neon Ink Blue Chocobo. We have a similar price paradigm here, except it never hit any resistance. The blue has been doing well since the beginning and continues to rise with a crazy price tag of nearly $3,000 for some shiny cardboard. And guess what? It's been selling. 46 sold, and again, we pushed right past that resistance band of $1,500. One sold for $1,100, damaged foil. Let's see what happened there. I'm curious. Is that cut down there? How did that happen? What is the damaged part of it? Oh man, damaged foil. What a shame. I feel like people might look past that, especially considering it kind of blends in. That's super interesting. Is that damage, or is that a printing error? Let me know in the comments below. I'm assuming this must be considered damaged, but it could be a printing error. It almost looks like the ink is folded on itself. Very unusual, very interesting. But either way, back to the topic at hand. This blew past the $1,500 price point right here, June 20th, and quickly established a new price paradigm of $2,000, which was quickly adopted and maintained until, again, boom, we break through another ceiling of $2,400. Continues to go up. Now we're at almost $3,000. The Chocobos continue to defy previous Magic the Gathering price points. Let's look at the yellow Chocobo, what I believe to be the least in demand because it looks the most like the standard pull and doesn't distinguish itself as obviously just on quick inspection. Obviously in person, you could probably tell, you hold it to the light, you move it side to side, it becomes quite obvious. But on the table or in a binder, it looks kind of similar, unless you have them both right next to each other. So this one had the lowest price at the beginning. We're looking at price points again, going back a little bit here, in the $700 range, kind of that sweet spot for an expensive card out of a set that had tons of hype and sold out before even release. It hit some resistance, but then June 24th, pushed right past $1,500, floated there a little bit around that $1,500 to $1,900 range, and now has firmly established itself as a either $2,000 or $3,000 card. I think $2,800 is ambitious on July 15th. They must have been worried about a buyout. Let's check the final color before we talk about the black Chocobo. $3,100 here, traveling Chocobo neon green. This one also dropped off and then hit a little resistance again, a little bit at around $1,500 and blew past it. 56 of these have been sold. Incredible sell-through. Just think of the serialized. If you've been collecting Magic the Gathering for years and you've talked with your friends about pulling a serialized card, maybe I'll get it. How cool would that be? This card is worth $2,000. This one worth $3,000. They weren't. They're probably worth around $15,000. Maybe when that first set releases, those first serialized get pulled, they were fetching that $3,000 price point, but it didn't sustain. Here, because of the volume, the price movement continues to rise and rise and rise, and this has firmly established again a $2,000 to $3,000 card price point for over 56 sold. That's just incredible. Now, this new $3,000 price ceiling is being tested. We will find out whether or not the Chocobos can lever up again to $3,500 or $4,000 in the coming weeks or even months. But for now, let's look at the black Chocobo. The black Chocobo is an anomaly. The black Chocobo is as potent a Magic card in terms of the financial market's interest as I have ever seen. $6,100 for this card, crazy price point. If we were looking at any of the previous examples, you would probably see the same thing. No sell-through, no interest. Well, this one has 8 sold, even at these ridiculous price points. Look at this. 61, 57, 58, 59, 59, 4,000. I know 8 is nothing compared to the 50 or 40 we were looking at for the other colors, but 8 sold in a month period at this ridiculous price point. You can get a used Mercedes. It might not be in nice shape, but for $6,100 cash. It's incredible to think that we're getting playing cards from Magic the Gathering in the modern era as much as a damaged Black Lotus. It's absurd. And to think that this price point is actually holding quickly blew right past that 3,000 threshold the other Neon Chocobos are facing right now, went right to 35, right to 4, and then a giant boost to 6,000. Look at this. With tax and shipping, that's a $6,400 card. It's just stunning to look at this price point and go, wow, this is the new price paradigm for Magic. Or is it? This, in my opinion, is the whole reason I'm making this video. I want to note that Final Fantasy is a new kind of Magic set with a new level of interest from outside Magic collectors. I'm going to make a video about the importance of slabs in other TCGs and how grading cards wasn't really a thing in Magic the Gathering. I mean, people have done it, but it certainly wasn't the norm. But Pokemon, it's a business model. Getting back your Gem Mint 10 or your Black Label 10 can boost the price of a card by 50, 60, 70%. It seems that these very collectors, it seems that the people who are willing to pay those crazy astronomical prices have now entered into Magic the Gathering. The only question is, will they stay? The real litmus test for that is going to be Spider-Man. I don't know what kind of crossover there is between the fan base of Spider-Man and Final Fantasy, but we're going to find out real quick. It's going to be very interesting to see if these price points hold for longer than a month or two before we see major retractions as people over-levering themselves, buying collector booster box after collector booster box at $1,200, $1,300 a box, are going to need to get back some profits when they pull the Neon Chocobo and go, you know what? I would love to sell this for $3,000, but I got a credit card statement next month due for $1,500 and I can sell this Chocobo for $14 right now. And suddenly the prices start to fall if the purchasing power has been all used up. How many people are interested in Magic the Gathering enough to buy a $3,000 Magic card, a non-serialized Magic card, where maybe there's 1,500 examples of them? Who knows? And how many are going to stick around in the hobby? Again, who knows? But I wanted to make this video specifically to highlight the fact that there are fake prices on TCG for some of the most expensive and cool cards to ever come out in Magic the Gathering's recent history, and those prices are untested and not really realistic. They're just a pipe dream in the sky of what people wish someone would pay for them, but no one's interested in actually shelling out the cash. The Chocobos? Well, it turns out people are interested in shelling out the cash. And for the first time I can remember in collecting Magic the Gathering's history, these kinds of price points aren't pie in the sky numbers, aren't aspirational, they are real, they are selling through, and with every one that sells, that bottom is less likely to fall out because the price memory is going to stick. 50, 60 people spending this kind of money on these cards across the market. If this continues, these will always be expensive cards. They will be sought after and they will be interesting. But the point today is, Magic the Gathering has unlocked a new level of value on the secondary market for their most sought after cards. Nobody knows 3 things. 1, will these values persist? 2, can they recapture this excitement with future sets? And 3, will Spider-Man be as successful as Final Fantasy in bringing in new players into Magic the Gathering, and more poignantly to this kind of video, more collectors? Well, I hope you liked this video. I appreciate you stopping by. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about this new price paradigm I'm discussing, and the fact that the Chocobos really do seem to be a new anomaly in Magic collecting. Do you have one? Are you looking to buy one? Well, either way, I appreciate you being here and hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, go ahead and watch one of my other videos. I got some box openings here for Final Fantasy collector boosters, and then also over here I have a price analysis about what I perceive to be here the collapsing of the Surge Foil market. Well, thanks again for watching. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm the Nerdy Attorney, and court is adjourned.